If you've ever felt that sharp, stabbing pain in your heel, you know exactly how frustrating and, honestly, how debilitating it can be. Well, today, we are breaking down one of the most common reasons for that pain, plantar fasciitis. So let's dive right into what it is, why it's happening, and most importantly, what the actual science says about how to get some relief. Does this sound a little too familiar? You swing your legs out of bed, your feet hit the floor, and bam, a sharp, really intense pain shoots right through your heel. That right there is the classic telltale sign of plantar fasciitis, and it's what we're going to unpack right now. Okay, so what is actually going on inside your foot? Well, on the bottom of your foot, you have this thick, sort of web-like ligament called the plantar fascia. Just think of it like a natural shock absorber that supports the arch of your foot. When that band of tissue gets stressed, strained, and inflamed, you've got plantar fasciitis.
What's so specific about this condition are the symptoms. See, it's not just any kind of heel pain. It's that really sharp, stabbing feeling, especially with those first few steps in the morning or, after you've been sitting down for a while. The pain might ease up a bit as you get moving, but it often comes roaring back after you've been on your feet all day. And that tenderness, right when you press on the heel, that's another huge giveaway.
This all leads to the big question, right? Why me? It can seriously feel like it just came out of nowhere. But it turns out there are some really well understood risk factors that can lead you right to this condition. Let's take a look.
It turns out a whole mix of things can contribute. Some of it is just biomechanics, things like having flat feet or maybe really high arches. But a lot of it is lifestyle related. Things that put a ton of stress on your heels, like long-distance running or jobs that keep you standing on hard floors all day, those are major culprits. And the really big one, which we're going to come back to, is just wearing shoes that don't give you the right support.
All right, enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. And we're not just going to throw out random ideas here. We are focusing on what is proven to work, stuff that's backed by the best scientific evidence we have.
So this is basically our North Star for treatment. The American Physical Therapy Association, the APTA, they constantly review all the research and then publish these guidelines. They actually rank treatments based on how strong the evidence is. So we're going to focus on their top-tier, grade A recommendations. These are the heavy hitters.
And just to be super clear, these aren't just, casual suggestions. These are the most effective, evidence-backed ways to start fighting back against that stubborn heel pain.
Think of these 4 things as your pain relief toolkit, and each tool has a really specific job. Manual therapy, that's hands-on work from a physical therapist to get things moving right. Stretching is an absolute non-negotiable, especially for your fascia and those tight calf muscles. Taping can give you some awesome immediate support for short-term relief. And night splints, they work while you sleep, keeping a gentle stretch on everything so you don't get that awful morning pain.
Okay, so beyond those clinical treatments, there's a super powerful tool that you have direct control over every single day: your shoes. This is, without a doubt, your most important first line of defense. Let's dig into why it's so critical.
And this number, wow, this just says it all. A study found that over 83% of people with plantar fasciitis were wearing the wrong shoes for their condition. Shoes with hardly any cushioning or terrible support. That is a massive number, and it means there's a huge opportunity to make a change. So, what does a good shoe actually look like? Well, this lays it out perfectly. You need a wide, stable base so you're not wobbling around. You've got to have good cushioning to absorb all that impact. A spacious toe box is also key, so your toes can spread out naturally. But maybe most important of all is a firm heel counter. Let's look a little closer at that one.
So the heel counter is that back part of the shoe that cups your heel. A firm one acts almost like a brace. It keeps your heel stable and stops the plantar fascia from getting overstretched with every single step. A flimsy one, on the other hand, just lets your heel wobble around, which can make the pain so much worse. You can actually test this yourself. Try to press in the back of your shoe. Does it stay firm, or does it just collapse?
Now, just as important as knowing what you should do is knowing what you shouldn't do. Seriously, avoiding just a few common mistakes can make a massive difference in your recovery and stop that pain from getting any worse.
These 3 points are absolutely crucial. First, stop walking barefoot, especially on hard floors. Your fascia needs support. Second, do not try to just push through the pain. If you ignore it, you risk turning this into a chronic problem. And you could even cause new issues in your knees or your back from walking funny. And third, just be mindful of high-impact activities. You might need to swap out that treadmill for swimming or biking for a little while to give your foot a chance to heal.
And look, if you need one last reason to take this seriously, here it is, straight from the Mayo Clinic. The goal here isn't just to manage pain, it's to solve the problem so it doesn't mess with your life long term. Hitting it early and correctly is everything. So let's end on this. From a science-backed toolkit of treatments to something as simple as choosing the right pair of shoes, you have a really clear roadmap to relief. The real question is, are you ready to take that first step? Because giving your feet the support they truly need, that's the foundation for everything else.